I've told you stories. Stories of shadows. Stories of whispers. Stories that crawl under your skin. But today is different. Today, we talk about a church, not just any church. The Church of the Undying. A place that shouldn't exist. A belief that should be buried, but it lives. It breathes. It whispers in the dark corners of our world. Imagine a town, lost in the mountains, hidden from maps, called Oakhaven. Sounds peaceful, doesn't it? It wasn't. Not for long. It was a town of quiet lives, simple folk, until it arrived, the church. It didn't come with fanfare. No grand sermons. No ringing bells. It started with whispers, with promises. Promises of forever, of escaping the inevitable. The old fear, the one we all carry. The fear of the end, death. The first member was an old woman, Evelyn. Her husband had just passed. Grief consumed her. She was offered comfort, a different kind of comfort. They told her, death is a choice, not an end, a temporary state, a passage to something more, something eternal. She believed them, or wanted to. Desperation is a powerful drug. Then came the others. The sick, the dying, those who had lost loved ones, those who simply feared their own mortality. The Church of the Undying. Its roots grew deep, into the fear, into the hope, into the desperation of Oakhaven. They built their church, not a grand cathedral, a humble building, stone walls, dark wood, no windows, only a heavy oak door, always closed, always silent. What did they do inside? No one knew, not at first. They held their services at night. Only a few dim lanterns inside. No singing, no sermons. What was heard was chanting, low, monotonous, like a heartbeat, a slow, steady thrum. It carried on the wind, through the quiet streets of Oakhaven, a lullaby of the damned. People started to change, not all at once, subtly, their eyes. They held a strange light, a feverish gleam. Their skin, it grew pale, almost translucent. Their movements, slow, deliberate, like puppets on invisible strings. They spoke less, smiled less, but they seemed content. A disturbing kind of contentment, the kind that chills you to the bone. The town doctor, Dr. Aris, he noticed. He was a man of science, of reason. This defied reason. He saw his patients, people he had known for years, wasting away. Yet, they claimed to be cured, free from ailments, free from pain. He ran tests, their bodies. They were failing, but they felt no pain. They felt no fear. Only a profound, unsettling calm. One of his patients, a young man, Thomas. He was dying of a rare disease. Dr. Aris had no cure. Thomas joined the church. His family was distraught. They begged him not to. He wouldn't listen. He said, they have the answers. They have the truth. Weeks passed. Thomas should have been gone, but he wasn't. He was still there. His skin like parchment. His eyes sunken and vacant. But he was breathing. Barely. He was alive. Or something like it. Dr. Aries went to the church. He demanded answers. The door, it opened slowly. He saw them, the congregation, sitting in rows, still, silent, their faces, pale, unmoving, their eyes staring straight ahead, at nothing, or at everything. The air was thick, with something, not incense, something else, something metallic, an ancient dot. He saw the leader, a woman. Her name was Alara. She was beautiful, in a cold, sharp way. Her eyes, dark as obsidian, They held no warmth, no life, only a terrifying clarity. She spoke. Her voice, low, hypnotic. She said, "Doctor, you seek to understand what you cannot comprehend. You cling to the illusion of life. We embrace the truth of existence." He asked her, "What truth?" She smiled, a slow, unsettling smile. "The truth of the undying." He saw the altar, not an altar of worship. An altar of sacrifice? No, of preservation. In the center, a shallow basin, filled with a dark, viscous liquid. It shimmered, with an unnatural light, and surrounding it, vials, small, ornate, each filled with the same liquid. He felt a chill, not from the cold, from a deep primal fear. Tried to warn the town. He told them what he saw. The emptiness in their eyes, the unnatural stillness, the strange liquid. They didn't listen. They were too deep, too far gone. They called him a fool, a man of no faith. They believed Alara. They believed in the promise of eternity. One night, a scream. It tore through the silence of Oakhaven. A child's scream. The daughter of the baker, little Lily. She was sick, fading fast. Her parents, devout members of the church, they brought her there for healing, for salvation. Dr. Aris rushed to the church. The door was ajar. He pushed it open. The chanting. It was louder now, more fervent. He saw Lily on the altar, surrounded by the congregation, their faces twisted in ecstasy. Lily, her small body thrashing, her eyes wide with terror. Her parents watching, smiling, a cold, dead smile. Ilara stood over her, a silver dagger in her hand. Its blade gleamed in the dim light. Dr. Ares lunged. He screamed her name. He tried to stop her, but the congregation, they moved as one, a wall of pale, unfeeling bodies. They blocked his path, their eyes empty, lifeless. He fought them, punched, kicked, but they didn't react. They just stood, like statues. Impenetrable, he saw it, the blade descend, a quick, brutal cut, a gurgle, a shudder. Then, stillness. Lily was gone. Her small life extinguished, not from disease, from a blade. In the name of eternity, the liquid in the basin, it glowed brighter, red, with a sickening pulse. Ilara, she dipped a vial into the basin. It filled with the crimson liquid. She turned to the congregation, held it aloft, her voice, a triumphant whisper. "She is now one of us, undying." Dr. Aris was horrified. He ran, not from fear, from a crushing weight of despair. He had failed Lily, failed Oakhaven. He fled the town, never looked back. He tried to tell the authorities. They laughed. A forgotten town, a crazy doctor. No evidence, no body. Lily was simply gone. Years passed. The story of Oakhaven. It became a legend, a ghost story, whispered in hushed tones, about a town that vanished, swallowed by the mountains, and a church of the undying. But I knew Dr. Aris. He found me. He told me his story. He showed me his notes, his drawings of the faces, the eyes, the liquid, the church of the undying. It wasn't a legend. It was real. And I went there, to Oakhaven, the town. It was exactly as he described. Silent, empty, houses standing, windows dark. A ghost town, frozen in time. The air, heavy, with a sense of dread. I found the church, nestled in a small clearing, just as he said. Stone walls, dark wood, the heavy oak door, closed, silent, I pushed the door. It opened with a slow, creaking groan. The air inside, cold, stagnant, the scent, still there, metallic and ancient. The dim lanterns, still burning, or perhaps they had been lit anew by unseen hands. The congregation, still there, sitting in rows, still, silent, their faces, pale, unmoving, their eyes staring straight ahead, at nothing, or at everything. Just as Dr. Aries described, they hadn't moved, not an inch. For years, decades, they were perfectly preserved, like mummified saints. But they weren't dead. Not truly. They were. Something else. I walked among them. Their skin, cold to the touch, like marble. Their hair, still perfect. Their clothes, unblemished. Not a speck of dust. They were immaculate, frozen in time, trapped in their endless, silent vigil. I looked at their faces. I saw Evelyn, the old woman, her eyes fixed, unblinking. I saw Thomas, the young man, his body, a skeletal frame, but his eyes, they still held that vacant gleam. They were the Undying, living in a perpetual state of limbo, a terrifying imitation of life. Then I saw her, Elara. She stood at the altar, just as Dr. Aries had described. Her posture, perfect, her dark eyes, still holding that terrifying clarity. She was beautiful and utterly terrifying. She, too, was frozen, a statue of dark intent. And the basin, on the altar, it was still there, the dark liquid, still shimmering, with that unnatural light still pulsing. With a faint crimson glow, I reached out to touch the liquid. A foolish impulse, a morbid curiosity, but my hand stopped, hovering inches above the surface. A whisper, not a sound, more like a thought, in my mind. It spoke, "Join us." It was Alara's voice, cold, hypnotic, not a sound from her lips, but from her mind, from the collective mind of the Undying. I pulled my hand back. A shiver ran down my spine. This wasn't just a physical preservation. It was something deeper, something spiritual or demonic, something beyond our understanding. They were not just preserved. They were aware, trapped, conscious, in their silent, unmoving bodies forever, just as they were promised. This wasn't eternal life. It was eternal torment, a prison of consciousness, trapped in a decaying shell, unable to move, unable to speak, unable to truly live, unable to die. A nightmare beyond comprehension. I backed away, slowly, never taking my eyes off them. The congregation, the Undying, their vacant stares following me. Or so it felt, the whispers, growing louder in my mind. Join us. Be free from the fear of death. Be eternal. I reached the door, pushed it open. The sunlight, blinding, cleansing. I stumbled out into the cold mountain air, gasping for breath. I ran until my lungs burned, until my legs ached. I ran until Oakhaven, until the church was a distant shadow, a terrifying memory. But the whispers, they remained in the back of my mind, a chilling echo of the promise, of the curse, the church of the Undying. It preys on our deepest fear, the fear of mortality. It offers us what we crave, eternity, but at what cost? The loss of true life, the loss of movement, of feeling, of joy, of sorrow, of everything that makes us human. It's a seductive lie, a terrifying truth. Think about it. The moments we chase,